Zoo to the power of two, a zoo in a zoo. A layered approach to opening the zoo to a broader range of stakeholders, contributors and users while fostering mutually beneficial relationships with each other and the zoo. We will consider the project from a macro to meso to micro scale, holistic layering starting with the stakeholders. We design places for life, all life. We look at the zoo through the perspective of four contributors: shrub layer, resident animal, anthropological, and canopy contributors, as well as their needs and offerings. Anthropological stress and mental well-being. On the left, we see that in developing countries, 80% of mental health issues go undiagnosed. In the center, we see that almost 50% of South Africans have some form of mental health issue, and Gauteng, it's more than 50%. Up to 40% of mothers face some form of mental health issue, which affects their children directly. Related to urban development stress, we see that 55% of people globally live in urban areas. This is expected to go up to 68% by 2050. In South Africa, currently there are 63% of our population living in urban areas. That will go up to 71% in 2030 and 80% in 2050. Three mitigating concepts intersect. We know that nature can have a positive effect on our mental and physical well-being. We also know that zoos play an important role in how we perceive and care about our natural world. On the other hand, the most likely visitors to the zoo are mothers and children. Keep this in mind. Contributor needs range from basic requirements for habitat and food to complex needs of humans. From our group assessment, we calculated that the site receives 6 times more in rainfall than it uses municipally. There are numerous solutions as to how this water can be stored on site. The river is the heart of the zoo, but we see where the river enters the inner city, it's potable, and when it exits, it is unfit for consumption. By restoring riparian vegetation and by introducing 2 wetland systems, the zoo can filter some of the river's water. For this project, we will focus on wetland 2. Through our group work, we propose replacing the cable cart with a zip line to cut costs, as well as the inclusion of a second zip line. We also recommend numerous physical activities. Potential exists for green corridor connections in the form of fingers that can connect potentially the ridge, the river, and inland. By perforating the site's boundary, biodiversity connections can be re-established. Tree canopy mapping reveals fragmentation in the tree canopy. Through stratification, we can get a sense of which animals live on which levels. Some of these animals rarely go to the ground. This creates a need for vertical and lateral connection. Although only one species in the species selection list, the blue crane, is listed as a red-listed species, the question arises as to how long the other species will still be with us in an urban context. This need for vertical and lateral connection brings us to a variety of eco-bridge solutions, such as the existing bridge, of which one part can be turned into an eco-bridge. We also have eco-bridge channels and canopy bridges. Bioswales and permeable surfaces are also highly advised. Strategically placed canopy bridges can reconnect upper tree strata. The use of macrame to fabricate canopy bridges was explored. There is limited research available on canopy bridges, but studies in the Amazon forest show that multiple species use such bridges. To create the canopy bridge prototype required a team of specialists. The resulting prototype is an explanatory design and would require further research by specialists in the field. An unexpected byproduct of the canopy bridges is the potential for a weaving cottage industry. From our group's shadow studies, we find that the site is quite exposed to sun and wind. This could provide opportunity for a wetland and grassland development. Removing a section of the road would free space for better ecological and social integration. With 22% of the site's stormwater passing by the site, a wetland attenuation pond can be supported. From macro to mesoscale assessment, we move into micro-intervention. Numerous conceptual design sketches resulted in the final site intervention. There are 5 ecological and 4 social intervention proposals. Proposals 1 and 2 call for a wetland attenuation pond surrounded by a Gauteng grassland extravaganza. Here the wetland can be seen to the right, as well as walkways towards a central viewpoint. Plant species selection is based on beauty, robustness, and function. Florals draw bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, and other fauna, while grasslands are known carbon sinks, while also providing habitat and food to a variety of other species. Besides that, they are also simply spectacular. This brings us to proposals 3 and 4, the echo and canopy bridges. As mentioned before, multiple solutions exist to facilitate fauna and flora migration on ground and upper levels. By turning echo channels into structural deck support, creates an effective use of both space and materiality. Proposal 5 calls for an indigenous aloe and succulent garden. I was only able to select a few of numerous native varieties available, one prettier than the other. Proposal 6 promotes a series of decks formed around a social hub. The elephant enclosure is itself a central hub, and the area would serve a variety of functions if developed well. Universal access should be considered in all elevation changes, and care should be taken in selecting suitable surface materials that support people with disability while at the same time promote permeability. Proposal 7, Te Peditaru, is a water-wise awareness station that serves to demonstrate rainwater harvesting principles in a simple and replicable manner. The system is connected to a water-wise garden and nursery. Proposal 8, Be with Charlie, is named after the now famous recently retired elephant who lived in the enclosure for a number of years. The intervention is situated in Shelter 1 and is based on the principles of play and learn, what I call PLEARN. Through a proposed engineering competition, a water-themed play area is to be created that teach kids the principles and primary difference between finite and infinite resources such as water when managed well. The moat around Charlie's enclosure in the past kept humans safe from the animals it contained. Today, such a defense strategy could be employed to keep humans out in order to protect what is being contained, such as fragile native plant species. One could potentially fill the moat with water, soil, or kids. The Go Gorilla play area is inspired by and based on the existing gorilla enclosure and provides a safe, enclosed play area to children. The final intervention is the Women's Weaving Cooperative. This income-generating crafts-based project, hosted in Shelter 2, ties in with the zoo's long history of supporting local arts and crafts. Technical documentation reveal a summary of the proposed project. Holistic layering is now complete. So what do they gain? Those beautiful wild things will only benefit once we begin to understand how to live holistically as part of our planet and live, to quote David Attenborough, not on it, but from it. A touching tribute to Charlie can be found at this code. Charlie was the last state-owned elephant, retired after 23 years in mostly solitary confinement. In Charlie's new temporary enclosure, he trumpeted for the first time, signalling to the other elephant on the reserve. Perhaps we can celebrate the legacy of Charlie in a meaningful, biodiverse, accessible, and holistically layered space.